All right, guys, what's going on? We're going to talk the Pteraxii Sterylizors, little Batmen with flamethrowers coming in hot this edition. I'm just going to give you the basic combo, what makes them powerful, and then we'll talk a little bit about potential, ways to increase this. So, first off, they're only power level 4, which I think they're coming in at about 19 points a guy, but let's double check. 19 points a model. They fly, toughness, strength 4, toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 4 plus save. Now, all of them except for the champion are carrying a flamethrower, which would be 9d6, strength 4, AP 1, auto hit attacks at a 12-inch range. The champion's got a 12-inch pistol. It's only strength 3, whatever. He's fine. They also have strength 4, AP 1 attacks in melee, and the champion has a taser goad, which is pretty good in melee as well. They can deploy up in space and deep strike 9 inches away from enemy models. They have a 5-up invuln, and they're eligible to charge in a turn in which they fall back. You'll probably never need that or use that unless something changes. And each time they make a charge move or get charged, they get +1 attacks to their melee profiles. So you can drop in, shoot your flamethrowers, charge something, and get bonus attacks. Now, that's all pretty good. But what makes them really incredible and possibly a potential FAQ, Booster Thrust, 1 CP. Use this stratagem at the end of your turn. Select one Pteraxii unit, or Pteraxii. I don't think that P is silent. One Pteraxii unit from your army. Remove the unit from the battlefield. In the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, you can set back up on the battlefield. If the battle ends and they're not on the battlefield, the unit is destroyed. So for 1 CP, you can remove yourself from the battlefield. So let's say there's a unit here. You drop in, you shoot them with your flamethrowers, and for 1 CP, you're removed from the battlefield. Now it's their turn. They can't attack you. They can't do anything to you. You're invincible outside of a few stratagems that let them shoot at you if you're usually within 12. I think Eldar have one that's line of sight, but generally it's within 12. So if you can give them bonus range, you can land 12.1 away or whatever and still shoot. Now, if you only have the 12-inch range, you will be at risk to that stratagem for some armies. But not even every army gets that. So, crazy, crazy strong. 1 CP, remove yourself from the battlefield. Another option, let's say you shoot something with your flamethrowers. Then, if you have some defensive buffs on them, say their armor, maybe they're -1 to hit for various reasons, you could charge a unit, fight in combat, especially if there's only a few models left. Maybe they hurt you, kill 1 or 2, and then after the fight phase, you leave the battle again. So yeah, you might lose a model or 2, but you could finish off maybe a small unit, put some more damage out, because you are getting a bonus attack. Now, that's the basic stratagem. Okay, that's the basic strategy with these guys. You're pretty much unkillable. You're popping down every turn, shooting flamethrowers with AP 1, and just trying to pick off any little units that are holding objectives. And Strength 4 AP 1 can still put damage on even, Toughness 7 things, because you're auto-hitting. And 9d6 auto-hit, what's that, about maybe 50? No, 7 for 2. So, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. So about like 30 to 40 probably auto hits. Now, just a couple of ways to buff them. I don't think you're going to want to invest heavily into these. I don't think it's necessary. But if you do, Reignited Forge World, let's say you put them in a detachment with this Forge World, any unmodified wound roll of a 6 when you make a ranged attack, improve the AP by 1. So your strength 4, AP 1, 6s to wound, or AP 2. That will increase the killing power of them for sure. Another option is each time an enemy Well, so you're going to get that one. And there's a few others on here that could buff them up a little more. Each time an enemy model makes a melee attack against a unit with this dogma, if they made a charge move or was charged, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So if you got a unit of these flyer guys in this dogma, 6 is to wound, +1 AP. Enemies are -1 to hit you back after you charge them, increasing your survivability for before you fly away. And then this one down here, each time a melee attack with this dogma is made to a model with a 3+ save characteristic or better, improve the armor pen by 1. So 6 is to wound, your flamers go to AP2. When you charge them, your claws and melee attacks get +1 AP if they have a save characteristic of 3 or better. So if there's just a unit of 5, say, intercessors, maybe your flamers don't kill them all. Maybe 1 or 2 are left, 3 or 4 wounds remaining. You can probably charge in and finish them off before they even strike back, and then return to space with that 1 CP strat. There are a few others that you could use, but that's the basics of it. Now they are Scutari, so they're going to benefit from the Doctrines, which aren't necessary for them, but you could bring them down 1 turn when they have the +1 save. So that would bring them up to a 3-up save. They're not going to worry about the movement problem because they're just deep striking in anyway. And also, if you fail your 9-inch charge, who cares? Because you're just going to return back out of the sky with that 1 CP booster thrust stratagem. So they are Scutari. They have Doctrines. And we'll just go through a quick bounce through of the Forge Worlds. So because they're Scutari and Mars, they would gain Mechanicals. They're also a good candidate for Wrath of Mars, due to the fact that they're going to have a lot of hits. So you're fishing for mortal wounds. Great unit for Mars. For Lucius, they're more survivable on attacks back, especially because a lot of melee attacks are 1 damage. So you're getting +1 armor save if you're going to try that little charge strat for, not really strat, but try that charge for a couple extra wounds into a unit. 3-inch range to your weapon. This is bringing them in at a 15-inch flamethrower range, which means you're going to be able to avoid all those 12-inch Auspex scan type stratagems that let people shoot you when you set up from deep strike. Very powerful. Agrippina. Each time a model in this dogma makes a range attack, targets within half range, the armor penetration is characters improved by 1. Not really ideal because you only have a 12-inch gun, so you need to be within 6. Probably not going to benefit much from this. But, if you're going to stay on the battlefield with multiple units, maybe you go with that. But, yeah, no real need for them in that one. Graia, you're immune to combat attrition, save against mortal wounds, nothing that special. Styges, you're -1 to hit, won't matter, nobody's going to get to shoot you. Ryza is another strong one for them, because you get +1 to charge rolls, so you only need an 8 to charge out of Deep Strike to get that little bonus extra damage in on a unit you weakened with your flamethrowers. And also, you get +1 to wound on the charge. So your Strength 4, AP1 Talon attacks and that Taser at +1 to wound. You're definitely putting out more damage because of your charge with Ryza. So, not a bad one. Not a bad one. Metallica. Models, yeah. So, no real need for Metallica. And there you go. So, they are, they have an alpha, Sterilizer alpha. You can give them, let me show you a relic here. Or first, sorry, I didn't plan on going this far. So, an alpha, this stratagem here, 1 command point, you can give an alpha, Artifactorium. You can give the Cage a Vardima's Temporcopia Omniscient Mask, or the Skull of Nikola Tesla. And if you check those out, they're not terrible to put on your... Oh my boy, what the hell? Okay, there we go. So, the Skull of Elder Nikola Tesla here. At the start of your shooting phase, roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle within 12. On a 2 through 3, they suffer 1 mortal wound. 4 through 5, d3 on a 6, flat 3. So I don't know if you're going to want to put this on that unit, but that unit's coming down at the end of the movement phase. You're basically putting them wherever you want, and you could potentially have 1 or 2 vehicles within 12 as well. 12's better than 9. You only have to be 9 away. So if they're not completely screened out, you could put out some extra mortal wounds on vehicles with this unit as they plop around the battlefield. Now, as you know, there's quite a few good combos, if you've been watching the Masterclass here. Good combos of relics and things for the AdMech, so you're not totally going to want to invest tons of extra relics for funsy little things. But that's going to increase their damage output, and it increases their damage output against vehicles, which is pretty good. You're not going to waste this one, the mask, but 6s to hit, make an additional hit. If you're doing the charge thing, nice. The Temporcopia gives them fight first, doesn't matter for them. And the Cage, if you hit a unit, they're -1 to hit you back, which is also going to increase your survivability of, being attacked back in melee. If you make those charges, if you even want to go for those charges. Because I think most of the time you're just shooting the flamers and leaving the battlefield. So I think, if there's just a little bit, like if the risk of damage you're going to take back in combat is very low, then heck, go for that charge. If you fail, don't waste a command point to reroll it. Just go for it for fun. Try to pick off that last guy or two. I mean, even if it's just a character with a couple attacks, as long as he only has a 1 damage weapon and not a 2 damage weapon, he's probably not killing that many of your models. So not too bad. So there you have it. Sterylizors, really, really solid. This works for these guys as well, but they don't have the auto hit gun. They have Assault 5 guns, so we'll see if we can find something better for these guys. But in general, and they do have the arc grenade, so there's a little bit to go on with that. But the Sterylizors, I think, outshine the Sky Stalkers as far as battlefield role of something that's going to harass units jumping all over the battlefield. But both of them can return back up to the sky with the Super Booster Stratagem. And there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like Adeptus Mechanicus videos, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Comment down below which units you want to hear me talk about next. If you haven't already, pick up a squad or two, a box or two of these guys. Because only 1 unit's returning back up to the sky, basically no reason to have more than 1 unit in your army. So there you go. If you're thinking about trying to maximize your strength versus points in army building, you probably only want 1 unit of these, and you can pretty much keep them invincible all game. So yeah, invincible, pretty strong. I could see a potential change to that stratagem where they can't leave on the turn in which they arrived, which changes this completely. But for right now, it works perfectly fine, and it's incredible. Talk to you in the next one. See you in the comments.